Hey, I'm going to title this lesson Bits and Pieces because I'm going to do bits and pieces, things I think I've missed. So the first thing let's do is a song. All right. Jesus, yo te amo. Now we're going to be talking about familiar, and te is familiar. Yo te amo. That's the familiar or family verb. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about, before we do the song, let's talk about, in English, we don't have familiar anymore. We used to have thee and thou, and it wasn't formal. It was for use in your family or with somebody that you were close to. But we don't do that anymore. We say you for everybody. And if you're talking to your little baby brother, you say you. Now in Spanish, it's not the same way. If you're talking to formal, to an older person, you say usted. Your teacher, usted. And many of the old-fashioned Spanish used usted with their mother and father because they were older and it was respectful. But now they use tú. So if they're talking to a buddy, they say tú and not usted. Okay, so that brings us to the verb you are. If you said you are formal, you would say usted es mi maestro. You are my teacher. Usted es, you are. But actually you is, usted es. Now if you were talking to a little friend, a brother, a little buddy, you would say tú eres. Tú eres. And just like the little bird that was looking for his mother, he would say, Mama, ¿dónde eres? Eres is the informal talk. And so we have more to learn in Spanish because there are two ways to address people. Formal or familiar, we say. Informal. Tú eres. Now in Spanish, the main thing is you add es. When you come to the he form, he walks, he talks. If you are talking straight to the person, you say tú andas and put an S on it. Tú hablas, put an S. And that means you're his buddy. Tú comes. What else? So anything present tense can be made family or familiar, informal, if you put an S on it. Okay? So we're going to keep working on that. And so that brings us to what we were doing with the song. Jesus, yo te amo. That's familiar. That's not formal. So it's interesting when people pray to God, they use the family or informal. They don't use the formal. And we just think about it being the opposite. But thee and thou is informal. So te means you, informal. Jesus, yo te amo. Te is you. Amo, I love. And look, they put it in front. Te amo. We put it behind. We say, I love you. They say, you, I love. Okay, they do it in the opposite direction. All right, let's just learn this little song. Jesus, yo te amo. Jesus, yo te amo. Jesus, yo te amo a ti. Porque tú me has salvado. Porque tú me has salvado. Jesus, yo te amo a ti. All right, you could tell anybody, I love you. Te amo means I love you. Porque means why. And we get our helper, ha salvado, has saved. And the me is in front. Me ha salvado. So it's in front. Okay, let's do it again. Jesús, yo te amo. Jesús, yo te amo. Jesús, yo te amo a ti. Porque tú me has salvado. Porque tú me has salvado. Jesús, yo te amo a ti. That's so cute when the kids sing that. All right. So before we get now, we're at the point where we are not using a textbook. Everything that you're going to translate is from real language, from real books. It's not textbooks. So let's go over some of the mother verbs that we're going to see today. Okay, these are some of the mother verbs we see. You should learn them. Oír means to hear. Oyen is they hear. Conocer means to know a person. Because saber is to know a fact. Conocer, know a person. Saber, to know a fact. If somebody says you're really savvy, that comes from that. And seguir, I don't know if I spelled it right. Seguir is to follow. Seguir. All right? And now one that you always see is dar. Dar means to give. Doy, I give. Dar, da, one person gives. Damos, so forth. Dar is to give. Hacer, don't say the age. Hacer is to do. And hago is I do. Decir is to say. Decir is the mother, to say. And digo is I say. Digo. Escuchar is to listen to. Oír is to hear. Escuchar is to listen. If I want to say I listen, escucho. And then we have the saber means to know. Okay, that's just a little review on that. Now, let's do another little review. Now, I picked this, everything I picked out was from the book of John, the 10th chapter. So you read it in English, then you know everything that I'm doing. Here's one of the verses. El que anda de día, andar is to walk. So el que anda de día, he that walks in the day, no tropieza. He doesn't stumble. And I heard that word on television just the other night. Tropieza. To trip. All right, so he walks in day, doesn't trip. Do it again. El que anda de día no tropieza. But the reverse is, porque el que anda de noche sí tropieza. If you walk in the night, you trip. So, him, pero el que anda de noche sí tropieza. That's good advice, isn't it? El que anda de día no tropieza. But el que anda de noche sí tropieza. Okay? Got to get your ear going. All right. Here's a few. I don't do many vocabulary, but let's talk a little bit about things like the and these and my. They like for it to match. So we say the book, and if we say the books, it's okay, but they don't do that. The article, the, has to agree with how many books there are. So in other words, they say the one book, the's two books. So they want it to match. So Same way with my book, but they want it to be my's books to match. So you say mi libro, one book, mi libro. But if you say mis libros, then they match. Do you understand? If one is plural, then the other one has to be plural. Even if you were saying the blue book, that's okay. El libro azul. But if you make it lots of blue books, you have to say los libros azules. You get the point. Interesting language. All right, here's usted and tú. That's the difference. Pero means but. Pero. And nuestro means our. So you can say nuestra if it's feminine. Maestro. And then you can go plural. Nuestros, nuestras. So Spanish language is harder when they make everything match, but you get used to it. And siempre is always. Siempre. Siempre te amo. I always love you. Siempre te amo. Okay, now I picked sentences of verbs that we've already done. I picked sentences out of the book of John, chapter 10. Okay, so let's see if you can understand these. All right. What's an oveja? What's an oveja? Mis. Look at it, agrees. Mis ovejas. Oyen mi voz. So, where's the verb? Oír, oír, it's here. So, mis ovejas oyen mi voz. That's in that chapter. Number 2, yo las conozco. I like that word. Conozco means I know somebody. Conozco. If I say I know you, I'd say te conozco. I know you. Te conozco. All right. So las. The las stands in for ovejas. So las conozco. I know them. Number 3. Ellos, speaking of the sheep, me siguen. They follow me. They me follow. Ellos me siguen. Seguir is to follow. So my sheep follow me. And how do we do that? Because we know his voice. Yo, I, doy, I give vida. But yo les, them. So I give eternal life. Wow. That's a big promise, isn't it? If you say, I give them eternal life, that sure is a big promise. Who could say that? So it's, yo les doy vida eterna. Doy, I give them eternal life. Who could say that? That's an awful big statement. El Padre y yo somos uno. So Padre's Father and I, somos, we are, uno, we are one. Wow, that's another big statement. Because the Padre is speaking of God the Father. So who's saying all this? El Padre y yo somos uno. Who could say that they are one with God? That's an awful big statement. The last one, hago, I do. Hago in his name. Que hago, that I do, hago in his name. Wow. That's really some amazing statements. Sheep hear his voice. That's an amazing thing. How can you be a sheep? How can you be a sheep of Jesus? All right, let's do another one. Now, this is all from chapter 10. El Padre, we're doing participles now. El Padre me ha dado, has given. My Father has given. Me ha dado. Okay? And number 10, me ha escuchado. Somebody has listened to me. Has listened to me. Me ha escuchado. And number 11, ha encontrado. Somebody has encountered. Ha encontrado. Me, they've encountered. Me ha encontrado con él. Is that saying we have encountered? Number 12, no ha estado. Estar is to be in a location. So, no ha estado. No has been. No ha estado. No has been. And 13, yo he tenido. Yo, I have had. Yo he tenido. That's a good phrase. I have had. Yo he tenido. But that's the participle that we're working on. All right, let's see if we can get some more. Now, all of these verbs are just from the first 4 slices of the pie. And I think that I'm going to give you the next slice of the pie, the next video, because it's really easy. Okay. Number 14, ya sabía. There is an imperfect. So it's ya is now. I known, past tense, sabía. I know what, now I know that you listen to me. Wow. I know that you listen to me. That's out of chapter 10. So Jesus is talking to God and he says, I know that you have listened to me. Ya sabía que me escuchado. I know that you have listened to me. You'll have to read chapter 10 of John, find out what's going on. Number 15. Jesús les, that's them, hablaba. So Jesus talked to them. It's past tense. Jesús les hablaba. I love that. Hablaba, past tense. He talked to them. If I said Jesus talked to me, past tense, me hablaba. All right. Now, let's do 16. Muchos decían. So it's past tense. It's a I-A with an N. Decían. So they said. Muchos decían. Many people said. Decían. And there's Jesús andaba. He walked. Jesús, if you're going to do present tense, Jesús anda. It's walk. But past tense, andaba. Jesús andaba. Is your ear getting used to that now? Andaba. And I put in a progressive. There was only one progressive in chapter 10, and it was diciendo. Diciendo. It has the N-D-O. That's saying, I-N-G, saying. So it says, the Jews saying. Okay? All right, so keep practicing that in your mother verbs, but I'm going to take more out of chapter 10 and 11. And this is not baby text work. This is real writings in Spanish. And so I'm going to take harder words and phrases from chapter 10 in John, and pretty soon we can understand it. Once you finish the chart, then you should be able to look at any verb and say, oh, that's past tense. No, that's present tense. You should be able to know that. And you can figure out the nouns with a dictionary or something, but the verbs you have to understand. All right, what else do we have? I did some more stuff here. I want to tell you a story, but I'm going to have to wait until next time because it's going to be a long story. It's going to take too much time. Let's review our juventud. You should know this by memory now. Juventud, juventud, divino tesoro. Ya te vas para no volver. Cuando quiero llorar, no lloro. Y a veces lloro sin querer. All right? So, use divine treasure. Ya te vas. You're leaving. Ya te vas. Para no volver. Not to revolve again. Not to come back. When I want, cuando quiero, llorar, to cry. I no cry. No lloro. Sometimes, a veces, sometimes, lloro sin querer. Sometimes I cry without wanting to. Boy, that's sad about growing old, isn't it? Now, that reminds me about a veces. If you're going to say una vez, there's a song, una vez, that's one time. Dos veces, two times. What if you say algunas veces? Sometimes. So veces, V-E-C-E-S, means a time, one time or two times. Okay, I'm going to quit there. Keep working on it. So valuable for you to learn to speak another language. You don't know where you're going to be living, and you don't know what people you're going to be with. So you need to have another language. So talk to you later.